saddest days I've ever had in my YouTube career. This is the last ever Mondeo that they're ever going to make, and probably the best variant out of the whole lot of them. It's 2 litre diesel, ST Line X. It's just, oh, it's sad, man. We'll get on the road and we'll get into it, but this is a very sad day. But before we get on the road, I'm just going to do a quick walk around so you guys can see what we're dealing with here. So, Ford Mondeo ST Line, 19-inch wheels, gorgeous silver colour. Silver is probably one of my favourite colours in cars these days. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the blue, but sometimes it's just nice to have something that'll blend in with your Audis and BMWs and stuff like that. And this is just, it's just so good, man. And people always say to me, like, they literally, like, people actually always ask me, Ian, if you were gonna buy any car tomorrow, doesn't matter what the price is, not pickups or anything like that, don't talk about that, car. If you're looking for a car, what would you buy? That's it. Literally, that is it. Same spec as this, same colour, same wheels, same everything. And wouldn't change a thing about this car. Now, Mondeos have been going back in my household a very long time. In fact, so much so, we renamed them and we called them the Mondeadlies, just because they were so good at doing everything. They were never expensive to fix. They were never really went wrong. Just a really good, handsome looking car that's acceptable everywhere. It's kind of like the Flash without the brash, the diesel without the schmeasel rubbing it into you, you know. But come on, let's get on the road. Today is a very sad day. I'm not going to keep going on about it, and I know a lot of journalists have already done their pieces about saying goodbye to the Mondeo, but I just wanted to bring you in what the Mondeo meant to me. I remember back in 2001, I would have been about 5 years old at the time, and there wasn't a lot of money back then, especially in my house, because my dad had only started out building his business, and he was working all the time. My mum had 2 jobs. She was busy trying to keep us from killing each other, me and my brothers, and it was just hard. Like, it wasn't easy. And I'll never forget the day, because we did have a Toyota Picnic, and if anyone remembers the Toyota Picnic, it's basically a big 7-seater MPV. That's when they really start kicking off. But my dad came home with a Mark 1 Mondeo Z-Tech, and at the time, me and my brother were just blown away. We thought it was the coolest car in the world. Thought it couldn't get any cooler. We looked up to our dad and said, he's the man. You know what I mean? I just remember going for spins in it, and I had that mad funky dashboard. And at the time, there wouldn't have been a lot of cars like that. There would have been a lot of cars with a mad fancy dashboard, and I think it had electric windows. That was a big thing at the time, and a few other bits and pieces. I think he bought that car used. If I can't find a picture of it, I'll stick up a picture here what it would have looked like. It was silver, exact same as this. Sporty looking, big alloys, had a bit of a body kit on it. And when Smiths of Drogheda asked me, hey Ian, do you want to do a video on this Mondeo? Well, they didn't ask me. I kind of seen this there, and I said, I want to film that. Can I film it, please? And they, of course, Smiths are just the best company in the world. They said, take it, walk away, and make whatever you want to make. And yeah, I couldn't not make a video on it. I just couldn't do it. So why the video is so sad then? Well, a lot of you probably might not know, but if you're into your Fords, you will know. The Mondeo is no more. This is probably the last diesel one we'll probably see in Ireland being made. So this car is about 3 or 4 months old now at this stage. And yeah, it's the last Mondeo we'll ever see. They've cooled off the Mondeo because people, well, there's a couple of reasons behind it, I suppose. It's the end of an era, and it's not as if the Mondeo is being replaced with a newer model. That's not the case. The whole saloon Ford is gone, and these Mondeos date back as far as Cortinas, you know, and there's been the Cortinas, the Sierras, the Escorts, and then the Mondeos, and this is the last of it. This is it no more. It's the end of an era. It really is. It's the end of the working man's business saloon. Whereas now everyone's driving BMW 5 Series or 6 Series or 3 Series, or they're driving their E-Class Mercs or their Audi A6s, and don't get me wrong, they're not bad cars, and they aren't. It's just, what happened was finance became so competitive, and everyone was pushing out to get everyone into these bigger German cars, and that's what happened. The Ford got outpriced, and the gap, or the price difference between the top of the range Mondeo and the top of the range Audi A6 turned out to be maybe €100, €150 a month. and that's what happened. That was the end game for the Mondeo, really. And then there was another thing that came into the market. It was the MPV/SUV market. So you would have seen a video that I'd done on the Cougars, what would be like the Kia Sportages, the next step up, you know, which is a higher car, higher up off the road, a better safety rating, easier to get the kids in and out of. And that was kind of it for the Mondeo. Its days were numbered. And in fairness to Ford, they were meant to cull the car about 2 or 3 years ago, and they kept production going because they got big lease deals at the time. But that's all dried up, and it's sad, like, you know. And as I said to you a few minutes ago, if you asked me, Ian, what brand new car would you personally actually buy? Like, I could do a video on any car and I could tell you I'd buy it, but this is the car I would have. So if you haven't gauged already, I'm a big fan of the Mondeo. And what I've done is I've asked a friend of mine to come down with his Mondeo, and we'll just talk about what makes the Mondeo special. And here he comes now. I love these Mark II Mondeos. They're one of my favourite cars on the road. To be honest with you, Shane that actually owns this car, he had another blue one of these a couple of months ago, and I was this close to buying it off him. The only reason I didn't buy it off was because I kind of needed a van at the time, and to be honest with you, it's good with me ever since, and it's still for sale with the guy we get our parts off. Basically, why we love Mondeo so much, it's just, I don't know, it's hard to explain, it's hard to put your finger on, but we get, like, even coming down to the parts we get for both of our cars. He has a couple of other Fords, and the parts we get them off a guy called Mondeo, Mick, and it's just, this thing is quick as well. This is the 2.2 diesel one, 155 PS. Oh, this thing's a flyer. But yeah, we get our parts off a guy called Mondeo, Mick, and they're not expensive, and he's a character. And when you go down to his place, he has like V6 Mondeos, Mark 1 Escorts, he has RS Focuses. It's just like heaven for me and him. So just everything is just about the brand. It's just so inclusive. Whereas when you go up to the higher brands like BMW, Audi or whatever, it gets very snobby really quick. And oh, you have the 2 litre diesel, well I have the 3 litre diesel. Well, I have an RS4. But I just love Fords. Fords to me is just home. No matter what anybody tells me, I'll always have a Ford around somewhere. And even coming back to my own Fords, I have a Mark V Fiesta C-Tech S in this same colour as this Mondeo here, and it's just, they're just infectious, and I'm gonna miss it terribly. Even coming back to this one, where Ford have come from with this into that, like, they're not very different. That car is a lot bigger, noticeably bigger than this car. We parked them side by side, and this one actually looks small compared to that Mondeo. But the cabin is relatively the same, other than all the updated stuff that they've done over the years. But it's still very spacious, big leather, comfortable seats, armrest in the middle, lovely gearbox, decent pull, lovely, you know, power flow the whole way through, and it's just, they haven't changed a bit. They haven't changed a bit, and that's what I like most about them. It's just the pure honesty of a Ford. It's just everything about it is just, I'm your friend. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I love this thing. I've threatened to buy this off him many times, but he won't sell it to me. But the other one, I might buy that one soon. Oh, it just becomes a disease. You keep buying them and keep storing them there, and me and him are just as bad as each other. So, I'm gonna miss them. biggest downfall in Ireland why the Mondeo dropped off so much is because the guards actually used to have Mondeos. Mondeo was a big fleet. Instead now they have Hyundai i40s and Tucsons and stuff like that, but back then they used to have Mondeos as a fleet car and they used to love it. And the second they got rid of it, because I know a couple of guards myself, and they said the second they got rid of the Mondeo, these i40s were just cheap and light. So the only reason they kept buying the i40s is because they're cheap to repair in case they get a smash or whatever like that. And like the customer base for Mondeos, a lot of them used to be cops, and they used to be firefighters and nurses and doctors and stuff like that. So they were kind of like a state car, so they were heavily supported by the state in Ireland. Whereas now that's not the case, and that's sad. So they've gone for the cheaper, lesser of a life Korean car, which is very sad, unfortunately. Anyway, guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And again, thanks to Smith Drogheda for helping me support this video. Thanks to my friend Shane for coming down and showing me his ST Mondeo, and it was a good day. So, thanks guys.